Shalom Akim, Kahalayim Lo, Yahabashim Yashab Bashim HaKudash, and double on Instagrams and apostles, and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Thaddeus shout for the strength and to make this video. The art says I find this video edifying and exhorting. Edifying meaning to build up, exhorting meaning to encourage. And this is just pretty much like a little Neuralink update, MOTB update. The art says I don't even know what I was going to name this lesson, but just doing it anyways. But something along the lines of the Neuralink implant, an update to it. So anyways, as you can see here, as it says in the title of the video, translating thought to speech, Neuralink. So Esau is working quite hard in pretty much selling the convenience and the feasibility as well as the ease of use for this implant, of course through the disabled. So really, because this is one of the ways, one of the first ways that he did use was, I believe he called that phase of the chip, or that feature of the chip, telepathy, which is really the ability for people to control their computers, probably phones, tablets, with their mind alone. And I know that there was a showcase of a guy who had the implant, and he was able to play some games with it, man. Some guy was playing some kind of a shooter game, FPS, first-person shooter, Call of Duty, things of that sort, with his mind. So of course they could use that to then appeal to the younger generation. But Yaratas, I'ma keep it short, man. So let's play this, and Yaratas, I'll bring out some precepts.
I'm talking to you with my mind.
We're starting off with reducing human suffering. Our first product is called telepathy, and that enables someone who has lost the ability to command their body to be able to communicate with a computer, and the ability to do consensual telepathy.
In January of 2026, Ken became the second participant to receive a Neuralink implant for voice. He will be able to think, and his device will speak for him. And it will sound like him. It will be OG Ken from way back in 2020 before his voice changed.
I'm not certain about whether soulmates exist or not, but if they do, you're mine. I took one look at your dating profile and I was like, wow, I was smitten.
Ken and I had a whirlwind romance. We met on eHarmony, and we actually texted for 19 hours straight. At the end of that day, he says, can I call you? And when I heard Ken's voice, that was it. It was love at first sound, I guess is kind of the way it is. After we met, we actually started a black car business. He drove people from the airport to meetings. It was at that point where we kind of started noticing things changing.
I noticed that when I tried to pick things up upside down, I was fall over.
It just wasn't normal. And during COVID is when we noticed his voice starting to change. In January of 2024, we received the news that Ken had ALS. I remember feeling kind of the whole weight of the world, and it was really scary. I had already lost a husband.
Which, by the way, ALS is just like a neuro-based, a brain, I was going to say disease, but a brain disability, just for the simplicity of definition. A brain disability which hinders a person to be able to use certain neurons, I'll say. But anyways, let's continue.
I think Ken was worried that he was going to leave me alone again. And that was hard for him.
I lied to God. like to be able to go and do things. I can't even go shopping anymore. And I can't get help lots of the time because people don't understand my speech. It's really frustrating.
It's not only just the muscles not working, but it's the fatigue. You don't realize how much energy it takes to talk until you don't have that energy to waste. And it really takes away independence. Our house got really quiet. It's the silence that comes with ALS. Was kind of one of the things I didn't realize when it started was going to be one of the things I noticed the most.
The Neuralink device gives us something that no other device can give us, which is a single neuron recording from thousands of channels simultaneously. The telepathy product is basically recording the neural activity from the small area in the motor cortex that involve in execution of hand and arm movements. But if we go only about 2 or 3 inches below, there's another brain area that's involved in execution of speech.
We first heard about Neuralink.
By the way, as a reminder, this could have it could easily be a case of multiple chip implants, considering the different areas of the brain, for different responsibilities. Esau can easily put a chip, in each part of the brain in order to, I guess, so-called optimize, one's ability to well, connect to the Internet of Things. Anyways, let me get a preset before I continue, or some presets before I continue with this. This is Revelation 13 and 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast that had the wound by a sword and did live, which is talk about that, Roman system being revived again. That's that image of the beast. But the key part I want to read this for is read as it says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. Of course, formally in terms of context, it's talking about, like for example, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, when, of course, you had that bombing. That's what it refers to in verse 13, Revelation 13 and 13. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. But of course, here, those miracles can also refer to, the implant, of course, the actual mark of the beast, which people will be tricked, as I mentioned before, for the children, especially for the boys. They're going to be lured via the gaming aspect, being able to play games with the Neuralink chip. That's one thing. And then in terms of disabilities, they're using disability, disabled people as a selling aspect as part of their marketing. So of course, from there, people, obviously it starts from a fundamental need, and then it becomes trendy, and then it's like, oh, people want to get it like it's a new iPhone. And before you know it, people are going to be put in a position where they're going to have to take it. For those who don't have their faith rooted in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, they'll be finished. They will be deceived by these miracles. So skipping on, Revelation 13 and 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. In other words, without that implant, you won't be able to confirm your identity, you won't be able to buy things, you won't be able to sell things, you won't be able to partake in any sort of commerce, to earn a living or whatnot. So pretty much livelihoods via Esau system will be restricted to that implant, not just for the brain, but also to the hand. That's DARPA was working on. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number 666. Which you know how Esau rolls with his sixes. That represents Esau, Edom. So, because of course he's the one of whom Satan is using in order to control this or institute this beast system. We get another one here. Because it's all about making people trust in Esau, Edom, and making them have a lack of trust in the Most High. So Isaiah 31:1, it says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh." And this is really referring to Israelites, man, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. If you don't trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you're going to see the consequences of that in due time. So anyways, that woe unto them that go down to Egypt for help. Those who take the implant, that will be the ultimate form of that. And woe means destruction. In fact, let me just get the root word for woe. Yeah, the best way to put it is through the Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, where it says for the first one, of threatening, ho, woe, hey, oy vey. It says in the second one, of lamenting, of admonishing. So of course, again, all that is referring to a state of destruction, man. That's why the scriptures say the first woe, the third, the second one, the third woe. The first and second woe have passed, and the third woe cometh quickly. That's talking about an immense amount of destruction. So that's just to get some clarity there. Now let's continue the video. I'm gonna wrap it up soon.
He first heard about Neuralink on.
But if we go only about 2 or 3 inches below, there's another brain area that's involved in execution of speech.
We first heard about Neuralink online. And when he saw that they had a patient registry open for people with ALS, he signed up that day. When you have ALS, you have neuron degeneration, you're unable to transport the signal from your brain to your muscles. It's like a severed internet cable. And with the brain-computer interface, you bypass this pathway completely, and you can read directly from your brain to a device to do the things you want to do. Like most ALS patients, Kenneth was losing his ability to speak. It was slow, it was tiring and difficult, and it's something that is progressively getting worse. And so the real value of the brain-computer interface is that it would give Kenneth his voice back. He'd be able to speak comfortably for hours on end by no longer having to speak out loud, but rather just intend to move his mouth silently in a way that's extremely comfortable. He was so excited, and I could tell he was excited. I could tell he was a bit nervous.
The only concern I had was the surgery itself, because my capacity is lower. Otherwise, I was going home.
Ken had surgery, and they sent him home the next day. It was such a smooth process. You would have never known, sort of 2 days down the road, that anything had ever happened. We stayed in Dallas for a time after the surgery. We just did our second voice participant surgery last week. Today will be our first day with BCI. We'll go in, show him how to use his charger, how to use his app, and we will guide him for some.
You gotta charge it, man. You gotta charge the implant, by the way, in case You didn't know that. I did mention in the previous videos, well, the ones that I did based on the Neuralink. So even that is going to be some kind of inflammation on the brain. Give it enough time, people are going to see the noisome and grievous sores. That's Revelation 16 verse 1 to 2. But let's continue with this for now.
Sentences to attempt to say, and we'll use that data to try to map neural intent to the actual words.
Yes, this is it. Awesome, they have that.
So when a user gets a brain-computer interface, it's sometimes important for them to play around with their behavior to see what works best. What we did was Kenneth slowed down a little bit and tried to enunciate kind of the individual sounds of his sentence. And really, like out of nowhere, we went from 0 to 100 with the model.
Rain in Spain says mainly on the thing. Ow!
The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain.
Again, man. Esau, who deceives with his miracles. Now, of course, this would seem like a good thing considering his disability. He has an easier way of communication. But nevertheless, you always got to put it down to how Yahweh Shem Yahshua perceive this. If Jake was to participate in this, they'd be finished. That's the point. They'd be finished. In fact, they're probably the ones where you'll see the noise and grievous source.
That's exactly what I said.
Let me get a free preset and then close it out. Yeah, if you want to see the rest of the video, I'll link in the description. Or in other words, you can just search up the video. It's on the Neuralink channel. It's 24th of March, so it wasn't too long back. Alright, this is Genesis 25 and 27. When Jacob and Esau came from the womb. And of course, considering how, obviously from the descendant of Isaac, considering the nature of Esau, which is why I'm bringing out this precept. Genesis 25 and 27, the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. So cunning hunter meaning that he was able to perceive things, of course, in order to, target his prey. Esau being the hunter, the predator, and of course, he's got his ways to target his prey. Hence, the marketing aspect of the chip implant. They're going to use all sorts of ways, as I mentioned before, gaming for the little ones, as well as just for the sake of looking cool as well for those of you who want the validation of it. Yeah, all of that, man. So Esau's got a lot of psychological tactics to use in order to influence the younger generation, the older generation, of course, those who are disabled. They're the ones to start off with. Alright, Revelation 16 of verse 1. But the key part is verse 2. And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of the Most High upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell out a noisome and grievous sore. Noisome means smelly, grievous means painful. So upon the men that had the mark of the beast, and upon them that worshipped his image. Because of course, even if you think in a carnal sense, that implant, I don't think they're going to discuss too much on the scar tissue. They'll probably say, yeah, there's a solution for it and whatnot, but you can't hack what the Most High has destined for these things. Scar tissue, cancerous cells being developed from that foreign object inside the body. Because whenever a foreign object comes to the body, the first sign is inflammation, which is where the blood cells gather there. The second sign is which is really the immune system trying to fight it off. So from there, naturally it's going to say, okay, well, I say it naturally, but yes, through the Most High's will, inflammation there from there, and the Most High's going to turn it up, and it's going to develop a cancer there, man. So anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, that's how you found this video edifying and exhorting. Shalom, and Yahweh Shem Yahshai, Barakatah.